Hi guys, welcome to Chrissy's Tiny Kitchen. Time once again for Tuesday tips. And today I thought we would talk about cookie dough, cookies, homemade cookies. So, couple quick things I like to do if I'm going to make homemade cookies. Number one, you will thank yourself later for this. If you're gonna make cookies, just double the batch right off the hop, even if there's only one batch to be eaten right then and there, because you will thank yourself later by preparing that extra batch and freezing it. You will have warm, gooey homemade cookies on demand. Now, when it comes to freezing that second batch of cookie dough, a few different ways you can go about it. Number one, you can take your little scoop and make your mounds of cookie dough, put them onto a cookie sheet, freeze them like that, and you've got them stored ready to go. Another really easy way to do it is to take a nice ice cube tray, a good size one, and you just press your cookie dough right into it and you freeze it just like so. And again, boom, you can pop them out. Once they're frozen, of course, they'll come out a lot easier. But you can just plop those onto your cookie sheet, bake them off. What's nice too is portion control. If you just want to have maybe 2 cookies instead of, 6, just bake off what you need. Another great thing to do is take plastic wrap, and you're essentially going to create a tube of cookie dough like you would buy at the grocery store. So you just take that like so, and try to make it into like a little bit of a log shape. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then you can roll it in your plastic wrap nice and firmly. And you're going to twist your ends like so. And now, again, pop that into your freezer, and then you just slice. Boom, 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 boom. And you've got cookie dough on demand. All right. So another thing too, a common problem people have when they're making homemade chocolate chip cookies is that they're spreading too much. So a couple little things to help with that. Number one, chill your cookie dough. So as soon as you get it mixed, put it into your bowl or into your plastic wrap and get it chilling right away. And then from there, do your cookies again. I love using a scoop so that way they're all evenly portioned. If you're still having issues, no matter what you do, this is your favorite recipe, the best flavor, but it's still spreading on you, don't bake your cookies on a cookie sheet. Bake them in a muffin tin. They can only spread so far. So you can take your normal amount here of cookie dough that you would do, and instead of putting them onto your cookie sheet, you're going to place them into your muffin tin. So it contains how much they spread, and it keeps them just a little bit softer as well. All right, so another thing to consider when you are making homemade cookies is the sugar you're using. So if you are looking for more of a chewy, moist cookie, you're gonna wanna use more brown sugar, or all brown sugar even in some recipes. If you want a crispier cookie, one that's gonna spread and be a little bit thinner, that's when you're gonna use more or only white sugar. My favorite recipe combines the two. So you get a little bit of the chew, maybe a little bit of crisp around the edges, and it spreads a little bit, but not so much that you're gonna end up with this super thin cookie. Another thing I find is when it comes to making homemade cookie dough, I don't like using beaters. I don't like using my stand mixer. I love using just a good old-fashioned wooden spoon and just doing it by hand. I find that it just overworks everything, and especially the butter. Even if you wanted to still cream your butter and sugar with the beaters just to get that fluffiness, when it comes to mixing everything else, do that by hand with a good old wooden spoon. Again, it's not going to spread as much. This seems to be the number one complaint that I hear about cookies, and I've experienced it myself too. So it's all about sort of containing that spread so that you get a nice textured cookie. Another thing too, cookie cutters. If you're doing a cookie that you have to use cookie cutters and it tends to be sticking, instead of dipping them in flour, dip them in icing sugar. So number one, you're not going to get that floury residue that's left behind. The icing sugar also helps contain the spread of the cookie, especially if you're doing one that is cut out. You want to keep that shape, right? You don't want it to spread too much. So dip it into icing sugar instead of flour, and you're going to stop sticking and you're going to stop the spread as well. Also, one other little thing is, if you're really craving cookies, don't want to do a whole lot of work, you can actually take your favorite cake mix, whatever you have on hand, chocolate, you know, funfetti, vanilla, whatever. You can throw in some chocolate chips, some nuts, dried fruit, whatever you like. And you add 2 eggs. So take a box of cake mix, add 2 eggs, half a cup of oil, mix, 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 boom, you have cookie dough. So again, just use what you have on hand and you can fulfill those little cravings. Or if you have a last minute bake sale, anything like that. Also, don't be afraid to experiment. So, you know, here I've got my basic cookie dough recipe, and I've got some nice big chocolate chunks in there. But you can take that exact same recipe and don't put your chocolate chunks in there. Add white chocolate chips and dried cranberries, dried cherries, dried blueberries. Add in some M&Ms, Reese's Pieces. I've done coconut chocolate and pecan. So don't be afraid to experiment and change up your regular old cookie dough recipe. The base stays the same, but play with what goes into it. Sprinkles, I mean, make it fun, you know, make it interesting. Nothing beats a good old-fashioned chocolate chip cookie, don't get me wrong, but it's fun to play around with it a little bit and keep it interesting for you. So I hope these tips will help you along your cookie making journey. And once again, thank you so much for watching and thank you for the support. You guys have a great day and go and make some cookies.